I'm down in Spring Lake. Coach Goodell's out in Tom's River. We got no guest planned for today, but we're excited to just report back to you guys, report to our fans here, give you guys a little update on what's going on. I got my Stevens hat this week. I got to rep my boy Scotty Dew. I messed up last week wearing the NJCU hat on him, but hopefully I could get him back today. Maybe we got a special secret guest coming on and I get him back. But nothing really going on in my life this last week, just kind of hunkering down, staying in quarantine, getting the mind right. I see your sweatshirt. I'm definitely getting my mind right, putting my head in some books, just getting some knowledge in. But what's going on over there, Goody? I know we had some COVID tests with Rutgers and some of the athletes. What's the update with that stuff? You guys get any results back from some of those athlete tests?
Yeah, we're starting to get some results in. So far, so good. Obviously, I guess it's probably not proper for me to even discuss those. But yeah, we had our whole team there. Everybody showed up, 37 guys, and the coaching staff all got tested. Really, really well by our athletic training staff and our docs. And it's a spit test, so it's kind of easy. Kind of set it up in 10-minute blocks and maybe tested 7 or 8 at a time, bottom of the APC, and got them in, got them out, and it's good to see everybody. Some guys look really, really fit. Some guys look a little bit bigger than I'd like to see them, but it was good to see everybody. It's been a while since we had the whole group together. So we'll do another one Monday, and then we'll move in August 31st and probably start practicing September 1st. What's weird is we only have our athletes will be on campus. So it's not like, if the season starts January 1st, what they're looking at, there's a lot of time, Ant, there's a lot of time. Are we going to start September 1 and wait till January 1 to compete? The good thing for us is we do have an October date where we can compete UWWs, U23s, Junior World Trials. But to keep them busy, yeah, we'll probably lift, run, maybe just spread out our preseason and do some different things, do some group work. So that's what we had going on with our team. And I know you got to get up there Monday to test with us, so you're allowed in the facility. So hopefully we're a go September 1st, training as a team.
Yeah, it's got to be exciting seeing some of the guys just joke around with each other, maybe be in the same area as each other, just looking like a team again. Everyone in one spot, momentum kind of going towards the direction that everyone's going to get in the facility and start training again and get on the right page. But yeah, I'm sure it's also nerve wracking, like just thinking about a negative test coming back. What would be a consequence of like one negative test coming back out of 30 guys?
Yeah, so it's funny you asked that because I was just going to tell that story. Like we had a kid who, when he fills out the application, you got to fill out a piece of paper every time, and I had a cough. So they wouldn't even let him in the facility to take the test. He took it outside. It ends up he's negative, but we don't know that until 48 hours later. Our guy, he drove to the test, got back in the car with him, and that was a no-no to go back home. And that was a no-no. So it's like, how are you going to control all of that? So I think you just got to be super smart, wear your mask. I think the consequences are 14-day quarantine. And if you're my roommate and I test positive, you're out too, just because we're roommates. So I don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like. I just want to train. I want to get with the guys. I want to be safe, but I know we can do it. I know there's a great situation up at Rutgers, how they have it planned. So that's just the way I'm looking at it. But I would think, if you're testing positive, there's a 14-day quarantine. Anybody you've worked out with, probably, right? Anybody you've trained with, and of course are living with. So that's kind of what we got to look at.
Yeah. I wonder how long that lasts. Like, does that go all the way up to the national tournament and you got a guy that you're training with that fails February, the last week of February or something, or just somehow it falls on the 14-day period, you worked out with him once and you can't go compete in the Big Ten or national tournament?
I'm hoping by then. I'm hoping there's a vaccine by then. I got to believe by the beginning of the year, there has to be something in place. Because you're right. You can't go through this whole season and still in March, this is an issue, right? Because can you imagine us running practice with a national tournament coming up? We would just be like, stay away from each other. We just got to get to the tournament,
Yeah. So, yeah. Just a reminder, anyone could come on and talk to Coach Goodell and I face to face by coming on the FanCred app, watching the show on air, and pressing the green fan line button. We would love to see all your guys' beautiful faces. So come on and join the show live. Ask us any questions you want, or just say hello.
Yeah.
We got someone right now backstage.
And we have no planned guests. So, guys, send in your questions or jump on with us because we want to hear from you and we want to answer all your questions. So please get on board right now. Who do we have backstage?
I think we got Harry. Harry Turner.
Harry, look at this.
What's going on? How you doing?
Only fitting that you call in this weekend, Harry.
I had to come on and defend my honor after Scotty Dell said he was looking for me in Belmar last year. I kind of feel like he was a little justified in that. You went with the NJCU hat right in his face, Anthony.
I know. That was messed up.
Long friend to you. That's messed up.
I love how we're repping to both universities on the show. Both of you guys are getting a lot of pub, man. You're getting a lot of pub for this
right
show.
now. I can't work out. We're trying to get our guys on campus. All we got is hype right now. It's getting rough. I'm tired of hyping.
Are your guys training at all? What are you doing with them?
No, D3 are not really allowed to train until October. So they're coming on campus. They're getting on there. Usually we'd have our club workouts and stuff, but until USA gets that in order, we start to get out rentals. It's a rough spot right now.
Yeah. So it's a little bit different. You don't have anything set up as far as strength and conditioning or none of that?
Nope.
Is it all virtual at your school?
No, we're still going on campus. They move in next week.
Oh, cool.
So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully we can get them all on campus and then they'll be working out together at least by themselves. We've got enough older guys that they're ready to run their own workouts. We just got to get them in one spot to do it.
Yeah, I see you repping the Thrive shirt as well. Big shout out there. Good guys over there in Spring Lake, Point Pleasant location as well. Check them out for some chiropractor, acupuncture, physical therapy.
Dude, they brought me back to life. I tried to start running again. It was a sad look. You saw me around with a bad hammy. They had me strapped up, electrifying the leg. All of a sudden, I was walking out of there like I was 10 years younger.
They go acupuncture right in the butt, right, and get everything going.
It was in the quad. They jammed me in the quad. They hooked it up to a go-kart battery. They were zapping me. I felt great. Get a little cryo action. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they get you feeling right. A lot of positive energy up in there. You go in there, you come out, you're like, it's like going into Goodell's office in the middle of the season.
Yes.
You're like down and out, and then you go in there, you're like, national champ. Let's go.
So one time, there was a goodie in there. Your sister was in there after running.
My sister's in there all the time.
Yeah, well, she has to be. She works out like a maniac. She's working out
a maniac.
Your guys.
Yeah,
I know. Thank God for her. She's the only one who uses our pool. She uses it every morning at 7 a.m. and the sauna. So
I believe it.
Yeah, she's in there a lot. So what are you looking forward to, man? What do you start? What does the season look like? Who are you wrestling? You got any pretty cool dates on the schedule, or is that something you don't even know what's going to happen yet?
We had a lot of cool dates on the schedule. We were looking at Stevens, like you were talking about last week. We got them right up the road. That's got to happen. We were going up to JWU. We were going out to Del Val. We had all the local spots that we want to get. We had TCNJ coming into our house, going to be our first home match. Now everything's looking like January to March in D3. That's what we're figuring on. So
I think that's across the board, though. I think that will be the same way.
Yeah, I think.
And how are your kids with that? Is that something, Coach, I want to take a gap year, I want to take a year off? What is that looking like? So for some of us, we have guys that love it, right? Quick season, short, especially the older guys. And then there's some that want the fans and don't want to wrestle. They want a whole season. So that's kind of where we're getting. Where are your guys at?
We're kind of a mixed bag because we've definitely got some guys. I've had guys that have been with me for a year now. They showed up last September and they're itching to go. They've been practicing and we didn't even have a room back then. We were just rolling out mats like the Jags in the old days in the cafeteria. So these guys have been scrapping for a year and a half. They want to get out there. So I feel for them. But we've definitely got some younger guys because it's a new team. We got our transfers that are ready to go. And we've got about 18 freshmen that could probably use a little bit more extra developmental. So it's definitely a mixed bag. For some guys, it'll be good. For some guys, they're itching to get out there tomorrow. They don't want to wait.
Do you guys have a room now? Because I know I was in there a couple times at the university. You guys were talking about maybe taking over like the racquetball office area, one of those little areas there. Did you guys take over one of those areas, convert it into a wrestling room?
We're actually cleaning out a storage room in the back of the gym.
Sweet.
Little one mat area, 40 by 40-ish. We got Gross and the boys from Dolomir up at Coach's Corner coming in, getting us a nice wall padding and everything. Nice. We'll have the legit set up.
Nice.
That's now. It got slowed down a little bit by Corona, but we're still on track.
Sweet. That's exciting.
Where are you at with your staff? Did you keep your staff intact? How did that work out?
I'm really happy we actually figured that out yesterday. We kept the entire staff intact through Corona, so that's pretty rare for D3. A lot of guys, the part-times are getting slashed, but we managed to keep everybody on board.
That's awesome.
Grafina's coming back. Ekloff's still hustling his ass off, calling kids. Budzik's coming back. He's still in law school. We got a whole weird crew, but we got it going on, man.
Nicky G, how is Nicky G? Is he holding his shoulder together? Is he good?
Yeah, man, he's good. Said he feels better than he ever has. It was you.
He always told me that. He always told me that. I feel great. And then boom.
Yeah.
He'll never admit that it's hurting him. Like he'll go through a whole practice and be like, "Oh, I feel good. And then you'll see it like dragging down by his knee the next day.
Yeah.
That's
somebody we should get on, Ant.
Yeah, he's a tough dude, man. I was his roommate for 5 years, so I got to just see all those ups and downs, and like the days he felt good, the days he said he felt good and didn't feel good. It's just like he's just such a tough guy, because there were some days he said he felt good, and like I definitely knew he didn't feel good. And as a friend, I was definitely always honest with him, but it was always his choice. Like I'd be like, bro, I don't think you should wrestle sometimes. I think you should say don't wrestle. I would tell him straight up. I'd be like, you need to be ready for March, and this duel really doesn't mean anything. I know you want to help the team today, but like you're fragile. And there was times where he would just suck it up and push through, and that's the kind of kid he is. He was a team player. He really wanted to just do everything he could for Rutgers, for Coach Goodell, for just all the coaching staff. He was just such a team guy and just a good dude. And if you talk to him outside of wrestling, you could see that same person. So it was cool to be around him. I learned so much from him. We definitely got to get him on here, pick his brain a little bit.
Yeah, man, he's good to have around the guys. He's the kind of kid you want teaching your kids how to be and how to be a team player, like you're saying, and good person on and off the mat. He looks scary as hell when he's out there. A lot of people are terrified of him.
Yeah.
But then when you actually get him off the mat, he's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. We got a comment.
Good, man. So go ahead.
We got a comment from Josh for you. Hey, he said, Harry, this is primo Jersey wrestling action for a Friday AM. Who needs coffee?
I did. Goody gave me
Josh. I don't know. Josh.
You know Josh is, Harry?
Yeah.
Josh.
Everybody knows
Josh.
Yeah, this is primo Jersey. I'm surprised you're not on the course right now, Goody.
I will be this afternoon. Fridays are for the show, the wrestling room, Friday mornings, and then actually got a ton of meetings today with a little bit admin, a little bit academics, Scott and Walker. So we got a bunch of people we got to meet with as our staff to get this thing all squared away. And then I'll go out this afternoon at 2. We got a big match, 12 people.
Of course.
Big match this afternoon.
I figure I'm 2 summers away from being able to take you on Pine Barrens. I'm finally taking it serious. I got the lessons. I got a golf handicap of about 48 right now.
Yeah.
Half every year I'll be with you, and
Well, here's one thing I'm going to guarantee you. You will never beat me at Pine Barrens. That's one thing. You may beat me somewhere else, but not Pine Barrens. I'm pretty good there.
You are a savant on Pine Barrens. Every shot, every blade of grass.
I know every place.
How many rounds do you think you played at Pine Barrens?
This year?
Altogether in your life?
Probably 300 or 400, I would think. I mean, heck. I've been there a long time. I was actually the golf coach. I don't know if you know that. I was the golf coach when I was at Jackson, and that was one of our courses.
Where was your home course? Was that it?
That was really the home course, because I got us thrown off Matitaconk. That's not for this conversation.
I think it is. What happened?
I was the coach, and back then you could only take a 2:00 bus. That's all they had for busing. We had to get on a 2:00 bus, drive 3 minutes down the road. So we were at Matitaconk at 2:05, and Southern doesn't show up till 3:45, right? So I'm not sitting around for an hour and 45 minutes. I took our team out. We'd go play 1, 2, back up 18, the way the course was designed. Like we practiced the whole time. And I can only chip and putt so much. So one time I took our team out on 1, 2, and 18, and that didn't go over well with so they're like, listen, you guys got to go. And when I played at Jackson back in 1989, Matitaconk just started. That's what our coach would do with us. But it was the first ones. Our whole team caddied there. That was allowed. When I got the job, whatever, maybe 15 years later, they didn't allow that. So I got us kicked off Matitaconk.
It's always Southern, right? It's always Southern.
Well, I just throw Southern because they came the farthest. But every team, it took them forever to get over there.
Yeah, no team is getting there at 2:05. I mean, we got out of school at 2:20. So
yeah, yeah, we get out of school 1:38.
Yeah,
1:38. Still to this day, that's the schedule at Jackson, even with the block scheduling.
Yeah.
Jackson, yeah, I was going to say the block schedule. You guys are at daycare. You get out of there at 10 a.m. And
We're
I
a
say
little
this, my
tougher than a
fiance is
daycare.
My fiance is a Jag, so I say this with a little bit of authority. It is a daycare over there.
Oh.
Get out at 10 a.m. They're hanging out in that field house, getting ready for wrestling practice for 3 hours. Go.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. What is your, speaking of the Jags, what is your main recruiting area? Is it straight Jersey? Are you getting any out-of-state kids or no?
We've had a couple, actually. After I did, it was actually the Bader show. All of a sudden, I did the Bader show. We're getting all these questionnaires from Ohio, Texas, Indiana. But yeah, right now we have a team full of just Jersey Savages, all Union County, couple Shore boys. Obviously, I had to get home and pull up. Got a Point Borough, a Manchester, a Pinelands. So
You got Robert Cleary.
Coming from out of there.
You got Robert Cleary.
Yeah, you got Cleary came back.
Cleary's coming back. Cleary's
That's a good pickup.
He's running the Mattawan room tonight. Yeah. It's a great pickup. We got a bunch of transfers. We got a kid from the Heart. We got Lance Wissing. He was a Peaburg boy. Came out of junior college out in PA. He was at Northampton. So yeah, we got a bunch of guys that are going to come in. Like I said, we got a mix of guys that are come in and be ready to go right away, and a bunch of guys who need that little year.
Let me. What is the biggest challenge? Is it dorms? Is it living? Can they live on? You can live on campus there, right?
Yeah, we got some nice dorms actually. The biggest challenge is getting the word out. Honestly, I had never heard of school until the job came along. You never even thought about it because it didn't have wrestling. So now we're trying to overcome that hurdle where no one's heard of you, and now you got this good thing to offer. So I've been just going on a traveling circus. You go in every room, you talk to the kids, tell them what you got going on. That's really it.
Our Rutgers fans would love to get word on how Sean Tucker's doing. I would love to know how Sean Tucker's doing. I'm sure you talked to him.
Sean Tucker, no offense to you, he's one of the best bosses I've ever worked with.
Harry continues to dig me. I've been good to you, Harry. You continue to dig me.
Tucker has been good as well. Tucker's doing well. He's getting all these capital projects ran through. He's kept the department cohesive through this whole pandemic, which is not an easy thing to do at our level. You get a lot of people you lose student athletes, but he's kind of kept everybody together and moving forward. So he's doing well. He's
like a superhero, man. He could do it all, and he does it all balanced. Like he does it all, but like he doesn't overdo any area. Just when you think he's like all in his job, he's like, I gotta go see my family or something and hang out with my wife, and it's like, or I gotta go run my Catholic group like that and things like that.
Very spiritual guy.
He's just got so many different parts of his life that he keeps very well balanced. I got to have him as a professor in grad school, so I got to learn a lot from him as he took that job and transitioned from Rutgers. But he's a very special individual. You're pretty blessed to have him as your boss. I'm sure you're learning a lot from him too.
Yeah, man, I've been blessed with a lot of bosses, obviously. There you go. There's the lack of day. I'll give you a little shout out there. You've been a good boss too. But yeah, Tuck's got us doing we're doing like a 16-week professional development thing once a week for the next, because fall competition's canceled. It looks like we're not going to be till January. So that's kind of how we're spending fall semester, is like pause in, pull it all together, and work on ourselves a little bit. And hopefully we can preach that to the team. We're all just getting better. We're building a culture together.
Yeah. It's stressful during this time. And I think athletes are always looking for something. I mean, if we can't be working out, the highest level athletes, like I want to be growing in some other way, whether it's eating better, living better, learning better, like getting more knowledge. I think we're all striving to do those kind of things. So that's cool. It's coming from the boss, and it's kind of putting it in mandate. Like, this is how we do things. If we're not training in the athletic environment, we're going to be getting better. So when it's time to train, that we're going to be in a better spot.
Yeah, man. That's the goal right now, is just preach to everybody that we're all been dealt the same hand of cards. We all got to make our best hand out of it. We got to figure out what we can do in this pause right now. And I'm sure you guys are doing the same thing. You said you're just getting the guys back together. What are we allowed to do? Maybe it's individual workouts, so we're not quarantining everybody. That's what we're looking at.
Yeah, it makes me think.
Have you?
It'll be weird.
I'm anxious. I'm interested to know if you've challenged Tuck, because you come from a program where it's a Big Ten program, right? We have everything. We have a nutritionist. We have a strength coach. We're training all the time. We have a chiropractor. We're around the best people. We're getting fitted mouthpieces. And clearly you don't have that budget, right? But I know you want to do all the same things we did at Rutgers. So have you had any conversations with them, or is it too early because you haven't really been in your room yet to kind of start looking? Because I know there's a lot you want to do based on what we did here. So I'm sure you want to bring that to where you're at now. Any of those conversations?
I haven't been told no on anything yet. So I'm doing a lot, man. We're for what we got going in a D3 program, we're doing a lot. You know, we got 3 assistants. That's unheard of. We're getting the room we want. He wants the best sound. He wants the cool graphics because he's doing the same thing. I'm basing everything off my time at Rutgers. I'm stealing my practice plans from you and Donnie. I'm stealing our sports info, you know, from what Brad did, all because we were the best in the business. I'm not afraid to say that. I still say that. I steal all that. But he was at Rutgers too. He wants to steal all that stuff too because, you know, he's not opposed to me.
Let me ask you this. So you getting Eat Clean Bro delivered?
No, come on. No.
Then you haven't made it yet.
There's limits on the budget.
When you start delivering Eat Clean Bro, you have made it, boy.
Maybe we get you some Anthony Ashnalt meals over there. See what I can do.
There you go. He's got his own meal now.
No, you know why? Because I'm so scarred. Because me and your brother were the ones who had to take the deliveries every time, put them in the fridge, and then you guys would just pick out the ones you liked, and you leave the ones you didn't like. You know who had to throw those out at the end every week?
Yeah.
Me. I don't want to be that.
Yeah, but it was a learning process. You learn which ones we like. You order the better ones.
I'll tell you what, shout out to Eat Clean Bro, man. They've been delivering to our guys. We had Boo McDermott in quarantine for 17 days. He had to stay in a hotel because his roommates were football players. So the football players were going through that. He's actually living at Billy's house, and Billy has 4 football players that were part of that, you know, that group that kind of all tested positive. So Boom's been in a hotel for 17 days. That's his first time at Rutgers has been in the Hyatt. But Eat Clean Bro delivered meals day and night and got him all situated. He loved it. So now he's back in the house. So that's cool.
Yeah, great. Is Kamal still lurking in the basement with the football players?
Kamal is. I think he might move in with Seb. Kamal might move in with Seb. They're going to get a place. So yeah,
that's a hammer house.
Yeah. Kamal likes Seb. Seb likes Kamal. So hopefully that works out.
How do you not like Kamal? Kamal's
I know.
Best.
Yeah.
The best was watching him. He had to come up and get his spit test, you know?
Yeah.
So he was like, he didn't know what he was doing. I said, this is great.
Yeah.
So
yeah, man, we'd like to get the Eat Clean Bros and all that, but we're just not there yet. I can tell them what to eat. I can tell them the good things you can eat, but I can't buy it for them yet. We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
No, that'll come.
That's what
you could just educate them about it.
Yeah, I think when we started 13 years ago, man, it was one thing a year we would work on to. Now the facility was the big one, right? And we told Anthony when we were recruiting him, we had a nice facility coming. But every year we had a major project we would do, and we worked on that. And if it's fundraising for meals, that's a pretty good. From a recruiting standpoint, that's a great sell. Kids love to hear, I got meals coming. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to run the 2008 Coach Goodell playbook as well as I can. You know, sometimes I send you the frantic text, like, what the hell do I do here? Like, there's no playbook for this. They just tell you, like, make a good wrestling program, go. And you figure out what that means. So luckily I have you to just bounce like, dude, what am I doing right now?
Yeah, that's gotta be unique. You know, he went through a similar process. So it's like you guys being close, that is a little comfort just having that. Well, you know, he went through that part. Maybe it was Division I, but it's very similar fundraising, similar start, you know. So that's awesome that you guys get to do that. Talking about Eat Clean Bro, you know, we got Frankie Yeager got a fight this weekend though. So I was just thinking, like, he's got to be in that same mindset. Listening to his interviews, he's just like finding different motivation factors to motivate him. And as athletes, you know, I do the same thing, but I really appreciate him. He's just saying, like, you know, I'm old. People don't expect me to go win this fight. I'm dropping down a weight, first time going down to 35, but he's still confident. He's like, I want to prove these people wrong, show I'm still here, and I want to dominate this fight. I'm excited for him. But Goodell started with him back in 08 when he started that program. And that's guys like you're kind of doing similar things. You're getting young guys that are just out of the sport that are still hungry. And what was some of the things that made you go get Frankie Yeager, coach, when you were starting? Like, how did you get linked with him in 2008?
Well, I always knew him. I always tried to get him at Jackson. Then I actually, in his recruiting process, I really wanted him to go to Lock Haven. He chose Clarion, so we were just really good friends and stayed in close contact, obviously followed his career. But we, at the time, we didn't have what you have, Harry. We didn't have 3 assistants. It was myself, Coach Leonardis, and which was full-time. That was even new. Coach Sachi didn't even have that. But Coach Leo was full-time, myself, and we just needed another guy training. And he just started fighting, and he's like, this could be my wrestling base. And he was a part-time guy, but he was up there training with us all the time. And I think I look back at probably one of the bigger nights in, like, we talk about selling the brand and the power of the T-shirt and giving everybody a hat and all that stuff. Probably the biggest night we had might have been our first tournament. We were down at Navy, but Frankie was fighting that night. And when he went into the octagon, he was wearing a Rutgers hat and a Rutgers wrestling. Now you can't do that anymore, right? It's all Reebok, and it became his sponsors, and I understood that. But I think his first fight against a pretty good guy, he was wearing Rutgers gear when he ran into the octagon.
Yeah, that's pretty.
It was one of those fights where he didn't tap out. He was winning the whole time. Didn't, maybe Cub Swanson. I could be wrong on the name. I forget the name, but he didn't tap out, and it was like epic. And he became a instant like legend in the sport. So he was wearing our colors. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, like that's what you got to find is a guy. Like that's how we got Budzik. It's just somebody who it works for you and it works for them. Like Frankie needed a wrestling base. So we found you guys. Budzik's right down the road at Rutgers Newark. So he's at law school 10 minutes away. He wants a home. He's a little bit too far from where he went to college. So it kind of worked out for both of us. And that's how you got to build it up until you can afford the full staff that you got now. The wrecking crew. Your Donnies, your Pollards, your Tyler Graffs, your Ants. Good thing.
Yeah, you find angles until you have the budget to make it happen fully. But there's always finding ways, and we're still finding ways at Rutgers. You know, we're always doing different things to get more guys involved and more people involved, even if it's more supporters, more alumni, sell more shirts, sell more hats. And it's funny, I wore the hat last week. I bought this hat online, and I think Fabio's still a little mad at me. I posted it.
He definitely is.
He said to me that I need to earn this hat. And I was just thinking, I was like, bro, like you should want people buying your hat. Like that doesn't really make sense to me. Like earn it. Like, yeah, I earned a Rutgers hat. I didn't earn a Stevens hat. No, I didn't. I don't have a degree from it.
Well, what you said last week was dead on, though. I get why he's salty because we haven't done anything yet. They're the guys at the top of the hill right now. I'm hyping everything up because that's all I have right now. But eventually, you want to knock them off the hill, but we haven't yet. So he's a little right. He gets to be a little salty.
I support everyone, man. You guys should have a duel at Rutgers at the rack before a Rutgers match. That's what.
Yeah, you said that last. We're not doing TR North.
No, but that would be pretty cool.
We're not a high school.
All right, then
that would be pretty cool.
What would be fair? Like maybe two mats next to each other.
I think we should do like a Jersey college extravaganza. You have a try with the 3 actual, and then you got all the lower divisions. You got the JUCO scrapping it out, the D3s. We should have a huge thing at the rack.
That'd be really cool.
Well, listen, I'm going to put you in charge of that. Why don't you be the president of that and make that happen, and we'll host it. Sound good?
That's how I got this job. You put your name on something. Do something
for yourself.
That's how I it to you. So, yeah, I'll put my name on another thing. I'll put my name on the New Jersey.
That'd be pretty cool.
We'll get it. The Old Bridge Wrestling Festival. We'll get it in a hockey rink somewhere.
Yeah.
Go back to our
Summer
roots,
duels.
Yeah.
What's new? South Plainfield will beat Howell.
That was the only time we ever met. We never scheduled guys during the season. We always hit every summer. There was a million Jakubics, a million Ashnaughts. It was like 3 families that beat us every year.
There's still the Vecchios lingering around.
I know. They just keep getting better. They keep getting better as they go on. It's
cool.
All right, dude, we're going to take a bunch of calls here from people. We absolutely appreciate you coming on. You're the man. I'm sure we'll be in touch. Let's get together soon before this summer runs out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm in Belmont. Golf, Marina Grill.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
Yep.
Thanks for having me on. Yep. Yo, he's going to kill it, man. I'm telling you, 3 or 4 years, that dude's going to kill it. He works. He's a worker.
I hope
he loves it too, and he takes it personal.
Yeah. I hope they get their season because it sounds like he's already got some good guys in there, some guys that can make a difference and start the program and kind of like the coaching staff, especially like having those guys in the corner at those tournaments, at those matches will go a long way too. I think he could really take off that program quickly.
And I feel bad for those guys that have been with them. How about the guys that have been with them for a year and a half and haven't been able to compete?
Yeah, like this, they were like kind of in red shirt because they couldn't compete and they were starting the program. Yeah, he had probably 6 to 8 guys that were there since the announcement of the program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I haven't been up there yet. I got to get up there, check them out. I'll maybe make a run this fall or whenever they get in there, whenever I can visit. But let's get some people to call in or at least ask some questions. Give us a little something. Give us some talking points here. Yeah, speaking about Frankie, I don't really know this opponent. I worry, I always worry about Frankie when he goes into the ring. For me now, it's not about wins and losses. It's just staying healthy because he has so many minutes in the octagon. It's more of let's just get out of this thing healthy, and hopefully he could finish this guy quick and get the heck out,
Yeah, as well though. I think he wants to prove a point, man. A lot of people saying you got to retire, you got to retire, and you listen to him talk, and he's just like, I want to prove those people wrong. I want to put this guy away and prove that I have another title run. Like, I don't think he's the kind of guy just like one more fight. I think he really believes he could be a title contender still, or he wouldn't be fighting. And he says he's going to just let that happen naturally. But maybe if he did take a loss, it would be done. It would be over, or he would hang him up. But I don't see it, man. He trains so hard still, so focused. I think he's more dedicated than ever because he's got to go down to 135. Like he says in one of his interviews, like, I can't sneak a beer here and there anymore. Like, I can't sneak a pizza on the weekends. He's like, I'm very disciplined right now, more disciplined than I had to be at 45, at 55. Like, I think he's on a mission a little bit, and maybe his athletic ability is not where it was when he was 25, but mentally, he's one of the toughest guys I've ever been around in the room, outside of the room. I'm excited to see it. I hope he gets back to the top and it starts tomorrow night.
I don't really know the division because I just haven't followed the 135-pound weight class. But who is the champ there now? I mean, Cejudo retired, didn't he?
Yeah.
So is it kind of a open belt?
No, the weight's stacked. Shoot, I don't know the champ either, but
I think it's probably open because he just retired.
No. Peter Yan just beat Jose Aldo for the title, so Peter Yan's a champ. You got a bunch of guys. Garbrandt is going to go down to 25 for the title, but he was there. You got a lot of up and comers like Sean O'Malley last weekend fought this young up and comer 24 or 25-year-old, but he hurt his ankle versus Chito Vera, who is another really good guy. And there's a bunch of good dudes. Probably the top 10 at that weight are studs, and Frankie is in that list, but any day the top 10 at that weight could beat each other. So it's a very dangerous weight. Like, say he wins tonight, he's got another dangerous fight in the next guy and the next guy. So he's probably got like 3 fights away from maybe 2 to 3 fights away, I'd say, from a title.
Now I wonder how that works. If somebody gets knocked off, do they jump them, or how does it?
Depends. You get a knockout in the first round, it goes a lot farther than if it's a brawl, like some of his fights in a decision. So I think you go knock him out in the first round right away and a highlight, then it jumps you a lot farther, and people want to see that. They want to market that. They want to advertise that, so it goes farther. But
got a question here.
That's not really Frankie though. He's a grinder.
Yeah. I got a question again about Harry. What rings true about his experience to you early days at Rutgers or at Jackson? Well, he wasn't with me at Jackson. I actually coached against him. He was at Howell. But Harry will tell the story. He never won as a heavyweight when he was at Howell. He was, or even a 215, whatever the weight was. But he was, I don't want to say bad, but he struggled to win. And he worked so darn hard to even become a 500 wrestler, then become maybe a 75% wrestler until his senior year, where he made the state final. So that was kind of his whole life, just how hard he had to work at the sport. And that's kind of the same way he took it at Rutgers, man. When he worked for us, I have total faith that he was going to get a job done. It was weird. I just totally trusted it because he worked so hard. And the biggest thing is he didn't want to let anyone down, maybe because he was starting at the bottom, didn't want to let anyone down. So when Tucker called me about him, I was like, this guy's going to work really, really hard for you. And I just think it's the perfect fit. And
very true.
Turns out it is. So his obstacles, the biggest obstacles to overcome, are going to be to get people to go there. Just like the biggest obstacles for Rutgers to beat Penn State and Iowa and Ohio State are to get the best recruits in the country to come to Rutgers. That's going to be the biggest obstacle. And then creating a culture where people in the room believe they can win national titles. That's the biggest obstacle.
Yeah. And I just think back to his Rutgers days when you would give him a task, maybe to make sure a kid's going to class. This kid's not going to every class. Like he went at all costs to complete that task. He's walking through Scott Hall to make sure you're staying in class during that time, things. And I just heard stories like him telling guys like, hey, you going to class? Like, how about I give you a ride? Like, it's on Livy. Let me give you a ride there. Like things like that. And, we didn't have that coming into Rutgers. It was nothing for nothing, man. The upperclassmen were telling us go through one side of Scott Hall and walk out and sign in with the checker, go right out the other side that no one's going to know. And no one would know if you did that. Walk right back to the dorm, hang out, kick your feet up, and you're good. You check the box. But, you know, having Harry there once he came probably like 2015 ish.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Around there. Yep.
once he came, and guys like him, guys like my brother, just added more guys that could delegate tasks, different coaching tasks. Like it really makes a big difference.
No doubt.
Like you discipline one kid one time, and it's just the fear of that discipline. It goes a long way amongst the whole team. And guys like Harry, we have to thank for that. I think guys like my brother did a great job too with that kind of stuff. So those
yeah, I think about what you just said, and when you first started, some of those upperclassmen would do this and do that. And it's not always the right thing. Now, so more than ever, we will find out about our culture, because with everything going on in the world, with everything going on at Rutgers, with all this COVID, there can't be any lying. You can't. We had a great workout because you're college kids. Let's go to the field hockey party. Let's go. And I'm not using field hockey because of field. I'm just giving you an example. Let's go out with the gymnastics girls. Let's go to this party. Let's go. You can't do it. You get outside of you just can't do it. So who's going to be the guy to say, guys, unfortunately, if this is important to us, we got to stay in our bubble right now. And I know we want to be college kids, but you can't, because there's no lying about it. You can't. That'll be the biggest problem is I wasn't at the party, coach. You can't lie about it because you have to trace this stuff.
Yeah.
So if there's any of that, you just can't do it anymore. So who's going to be that guy to be like, we have to be solid right now? Yeah. You know, so I kind of have a little bit of anxiety about that. I worry about that, you know?
Yeah. How can you expect every single college to be that solid and to be that honest about it all? It's hard to say that's a reality.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how we're going to do it, man. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we got to figure it out. If these guys want to get together, at least they got to be together with themselves.
Yeah.
You know, they got to be together with themselves. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. I think
those spit tests that you guys had, are they because Rutgers created those tests? Are they the same test and easy access?
Yep.
I mean, I think we would have an advantage in that sense where we're getting tested a lot more often than maybe other schools. Big Ten schools in general are getting tested a lot more often than other schools. So when it's constantly in the athlete's face, that helps, you know, we're reminding them constantly like, hey, we need to be positive every time. This is the goal. So we could be competing in the season.
So I got my test back from Monday, from Monday, and it came back negative. So I have to take another one Monday, but now it come back negative. What does that mean? I still got to be solid. Still got to be solid because you're always going to be around group. I can't, and that's what I worry about. Oh, I passed 2 tests. Now I could go do whatever I don't have it. No, because you don't know if that guy has it or that girl has it or that guy, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa. So you got to be solid throughout. And you're going to get tested, like you said, in the Big Ten. Every Monday and Thursday we'll be tested. So, it gives us kind of a leg up in that situation.
What if you have the antibodies for the virus? Do you have to still be
I hear now 90 days.
Okay.
Like 90 days. You're pretty good for about 90 days. So who knows?
Does anybody
know?
Yeah. Do they find out if you have the antibodies through the spit test as well?
No, that you have to draw blood.
So did everyone draw?
We had a couple guys who had to draw blood.
Yeah.
Like Boone had it out in Iowa, so when he got here in quarantine, he took one test, it was negative, and then he drew blood.
Yeah, it's such a intricate process and so many different variables, you know, a lot of different layers.
Let me ask you this. I think just keep looking at this. Some of the biggest obstacles I think for Harry is you put a lot of faith into an incoming kid, and you think the incoming kid's going to be the next Anthony Ashnall, and maybe it doesn't work out that first year. Maybe they struggle as freshmen. Maybe they struggle through school. Maybe they struggle with practices. What you thought you were recruiting, maybe you're not getting. You know, it's important you don't bail on those guys. They're still young. But at what point, and I don't even know this yet, at what point do you start thinking different direction? Maybe the Big Ten, maybe D1 isn't for you. You know, that's going to be something he has to look at. Now, I know it's D3, but when do you do you give guys more of a rope because of the recruiting process, because you thought they were good? And how does that hurt you? You know, you had a redshirt year. So how does wrestling right away, maybe not having that success, hurt you?
I think just being around as a true freshman, all the people you see go wrestle right away, they get so much better throughout the year because they're thrown into the fire and they either have to get better or they end up like just have not a great college career because they get beat up so much and they never make that jump. So it's like such a 50-50%, I think, as a true freshman to get thrown into it. Like they're either going to go one way or they're going to go the other way. And that's the danger as a coach. You're making that decision. You're like, shit, like I want this kid to be great for 4 or 5 years, but it's like, we need him for this weight class this year. Is it going to go this way or is it going to go this way? And I think it helps a lot when the kid has a strong opinion. Like me personally, I just didn't mentally feel ready. And if you don't, it's like, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't kind of mindset. Like you can't be halfway in college wrestling and any kind of high level wrestling. So I knew for me, probably the best option was to redshirt because I wasn't confident yet. But someone like Sammy Alvarez is like, I want to wrestle. I want to win. I want to do this right now. And if I think if I was saying that to you, you would have been like, I can't tell Ashnall he can't wrestle this year. Like he's on me about wrestling. He's excited. Like he's winning in the room. And there was a lot of signs for me. Like I was getting beat up some days in the room. I was emotionally not where I had to be winning at the Division I level. There was ups and downs throughout my freshman year that I think were pretty strong signs to maybe take a year.
Yeah, it's yeah, you're right. These kids nowadays they come in with so many credentials and so much success, and they dominated at the high school level, and they automatically think they're ready. And it's hard to tell them no, because this is a short window. It's like almost, if we're healthy this year, let's go. But does he need a year? There's so many of those situations that have come up in the past, and like I think back to even Winston, he wanted to wrestle. He wanted to and he had a really good freshman year. And he wanted to wrestle, and then he redshirted because he needed it to develop. But he really wanted to go coming out of the gate. A lot of kids want to do that. I guess the biggest thing for me is, and maybe you have better understanding of this than anybody else, but can you bounce back? Like if you struggle, my thing is, I always hear, well, he's only a freshman. But if you're getting your ass kicked as a freshman, you got to win as a freshman to say there's light at the end of the tunnel. If you're getting beat, now your mind starts to creep in. You think you can overcome that? And what does it take to overcome something like that?
I think I was fortunate where like at least I was always getting takedowns here and there. I was scoring points on really good guys at all points in my career, like where it was at least some type of motivating factor. Like I think it takes a really special individual to be getting beat up day after day and not winning any positions to stick with it and to make it through all that freshman year of that beating. And I don't want to say they end up becoming a role player, but it's hard for them to evolve out of that role of just being like a teammate and a role player and just a practice partner, because you don't have the confidence. You're not scoring points in the rim. You start feeling like you're just there as a supplement to maybe the main guy. And I think it takes a super rare individual to get out of that or to continue to just stay on the path of hard work and doing the extra things, even when you continuously lose or continuously come up short. And even trying to think of guys, it's hard to think of anyone that's made it out of that situation as a freshman or freshman, sophomore, and ended up being a starter All-American. I can't really think of too many guys. I mean, maybe like someone like Kenny Theobald. Like Kenny Theobald was one of those kind of guys.
He never got crushed though. Like he always had a little bit of success, and he started as a role player, right? We didn't think he was going to be an All-American. But then somehow he used that off season to just be there every single day, every day to work at it. So I don't know if he got his head beat in as a true freshman. I don't really remember, but I don't think so. He was always pretty competitive. Now, I remember we took him out to Bakersfield, right, with us, and he wrestled in like what you would call a JV match. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And he lost like 13-2, and he was like clapping at the kid at the end. And I was like, what are you doing? You're getting killed. He's like, I want this guy to know if he wrestles me again. I go, he just beat you 13-2, Kenny. But that was Kenny. And so
there was another story from that year, his first year. Like, I guess he is a good example of someone like this. Like, he was getting beat up by the Navy guy. I think he got doubled like 5 times. And he's like, doing the same things. Like, all he's got is a double. But he got like 5 times and lost like 15 or something. Like,
yeah, he was saying that, right? Wasn't he saying that during the match?
Yeah, apparently. I wasn't at the match, but apparently
he was saying that.
That is a double.
We're like, well, then stop it. How about you stop it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
he worked at it.
Yeah. And on the other hand, for Harry, like, at what point do you go after those kids that are struggling in the D1 level to get them to come to D3? Or at what point are you like, he's not going to make it no matter what level that kid's at? Like, he might have been a high level performer in high school and he struggled D1, but I don't even think D3. He's just not.
Well,
He's not going to make it.
I mean,
at that level.
I could answer that question for you. If somebody like Robert Cleary, who wrestled at Rutgers and Ryder, and then wanted to go to Harry, he took him with open arms. He loved it because he knew him, he trained with him, and maybe he didn't have the success he wanted at the D1 level. I think Harry's thinking there's something there, right? There's talent there clearly because he wrestled in 2 D1 programs. I'm taking this guy and we're going to make it work. So
yeah, and you're kind of known as a second chance guy, giving a lot of guys second chances. What do you look at for some of those guys that are in the market to be transfers or guys maybe coming from JUCOs? What are those kind of things that you look for to separate this guy's going to make it, this guy's not going to make it?
Man, it's a good question. I think the JUCO's a difference, right? Because if you're in JUCO like Boone, he wanted to be D1. He feels he's a D1 All-American, can win a national title. So those guys are usually pretty hungry. So if they want to transfer and they've been successful at the junior college level, let's be honest, that's some pretty good wrestling. You know, we got obviously Richie Lewis, Pat Downey, they're all JUCO kids. So those guys can scrap, man. They're good and they're there for a reason. Maybe it's academics, whatever the case might be. So that's a little different. When you see a kid go into the transfer portal, obviously there's a red flag. Why are they leaving? So you got to do a little bit of homework. And listen, there's no doubt if a kid's going into a transfer portal and there's talent there and you feel he can help your team or solve a need. But I remember even Donnie telling me, man, it's a Band-Aid. It's a Band-Aid. Now, this is total opposite of what we're talking about with someone like Sebastian, right? He's a grad transfer, #1 kid in the country. That's not what I'm talking about. But a kid who maybe you feel looks good in the portal, but can he help you? Is it a Band-Aid? And Donnie'd be like, listen, that's a Band-Aid. Let's stick with developing our guys. And so that always made sense to me. There's reasons why these guys go in the portal, but there's no doubt, you got guys that want to transfer and maybe you know them and maybe they're from New Jersey and they can help you. And for whatever reason, we've taken chances on guys like that. Some of them have worked and some of them haven't. So, but yeah, it's you got to do some homework on it for sure.
Yeah, and it does feel good when you get a guy that comes in from another program, maybe a younger, later in his career, and then they graduate from Rutgers, and there's even if they didn't have the best wrestling career, they always end up being very appreciative, and it goes a long way for like me as their teammate or just them as my teammate. It's not a fairy tale ending, but it's a good story. Like Campitano transferred, he graduated from Rutgers. He didn't have the greatest athletic college career, but he's doing great, and he rebounded it, and maybe it saved him in a way. Like maybe he would have never graduated college if it wasn't for Rutgers. And those are things that I look at as wins. Like just because he's not an All-American, a national champ, like doesn't mean it wasn't a win. Those are great things and great accomplishments and what raises money and what gets things done. But those little stories in between are just as important.
Yeah, me personally, I look at Andrew and I stay in touch with him to this day all the time. And I love that, man. I'm super proud of that kid. I'm super, super proud of that dude. So yeah, those are wins. There's no question about it. Yeah. If guys are now on the Rutgers website, is there still a chance they can defer enrollment? Yeah, we'll have they absolutely could still defer enrollment. We're working with a few guys, mostly true freshmen coming in on probably doing that. So like someone like Joe Colon will defer enrollment. We know that for sure. So he won't show up come September and then show up next September. So that's kind of how we'll go about that. But there's still some questions out there who we can do that with. And I think once you start September 1st and you're in class, you're pretty much on the roster and you're either going to redshirt or you're going to wrestle. And then I think today the NCAA comes down with what happens is there a blanket waiver where you don't lose eligibility if something happens to your season, and then your scholarships aren't even affected. So that's a big ruling that will come down today.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting day by day. We learn more and more, and you have more meetings today with administration and other coaches. So, I mean, even today you might learn more after the show about what the next steps are with testing or getting the athletes on campus to start living. And you were talking about it before we went on air, just, they're trying to do different things with in the new apartments on Livingston above all those little stores, Starbucks and Qdoba, that those are mostly 4-bedroom apartments, and they're trying to cut that down, only putting 2 people in those apartments. So things like that, trying not to mix teams together, living together, because we're trying to stay in that bubble. But it's gonna be tough because you're in the same hallways, you're going to the same restaurants, you're eating in the same facilities. It's just hard to keep everybody in their own little bubble.
That's going to be the hardest part. And yeah, we're finally going to have an all athlete dorm based on everything happening. It made it easy to do it. But those are really, really nice apartments. These freshmen coming in have it pretty darn good. They're going to get a 4-bedroom with just 2 of them in there. They'll each have their own bathroom. So it's a really good situation. And, but hopefully they could just stay in that bubble with all the other athletes that are on campus. I think baseball's in those apartments, softball, field hockey, gymnastics. So we'll see. Hoops, basketball, men's and women's. So we'll see how it works. And, just to comfort it all, and just being maybe 500 yards from the APC and the rack is good for our guys for sure.
Yeah, and all the classes are online, correct?
Yeah, everything's virtual learning. So
yeah.
What are some of the craziest weight gain and weight loss stories you've experienced? I have a couple. You have a couple?
Yeah, not really, honestly. I've never had to lose like 10 pounds quickly or anything crazy. What about you though?
Not me personally, but obviously coaching. I've seen some crazy ones, man. Guys are weird with their weight. We have some guys that would come in 8 over 3 hours before weigh, and I would freak out, but it would only take them, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. They get a sweat going. It's like, boom, it's done. So that kind of stuff always gave me anxiety. I hated waiting until, like, I would get nervous when you would be 3 over and you'd come in and get a roll and it'd be 40 minutes and it's done. Yeah. So, but as far as Eleazar DeLuca did some weird stuff, man. He was weird with his diet, and he would read these. He'd do a lot of internet searching on what's good, and that stuff freaked me out. But he would win, and I'm like, well, you can't be 11 over the day of and win. He goes, I'm winning. And how do you argue that? But I'm like, you're not doing it the right way. It's not, in the long run, it is not going to work out. But he was a little bit, he would do it, man. He would do it, and he would eat all the way up until the last day, and then he would cut his weight. And that freaked me out, to be honest with you. But those are some of the things I think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, 2 guys that teammates with that I feel like I've been around crazy weight cutting stories. The first one, like Tony Pafumi, one time after Thanksgiving, we had the journeyman duels, and he was wrestling 65, and he came back. It was like Thanksgiving was a Thursday. We were wrestling Saturday, so we had a off Thursday, practice Friday. He came in like, I think like 10 and a half over on Friday, and he was just like down about it, but he was already cutting weight. So even though he did blow up a little, but he was still a little sucked out at 10 and a half over. And I was banged up, and he was like a little banged up. So I remember we were doing only hand fight and high level attacks. And he's all layered up, and I'm feeling pretty good because I'm like just coming back. I'm a red shirt. I'm like hungry to wrestle with guys and get better. And I just remember him being miserable. Just like, it was like, just getting him through the workout. Afterwards, he's hopping on the bike. I'm like biking next to him, just getting him through the workout. And he ended up losing. It was probably like a 2.5, 3 hour workout. Just hand fighting, high level attacks, not even hitting our knees, getting on the bike treadmill. He lost like 9.5 pounds, and he was good. And another one, just Eleazar. I remember we were wrestling Iowa one time, and he was like the same, like getting under 160 for him was a win, and he wrestled 149. So it's like, it was like, just, he weighs 160 now. So obviously, his body was able to do it, but it was just needed time to adjust. His body looks a little different than it did in college, but at the time he was bigger, and he was getting under 60 was a win. It was like he would be 59 the day maybe of the Iowa match, I feel like, in the morning or something crazy, or the night right before. And he just worked out maybe like 3 to 4 times as hard as he could and got down. And I remember him being drained, but he always somehow rallied some type of energy, maybe not the necessary energy to go win and at that highest level, but he always battled. And he was wrestling, I think he was wrestling Sorensen and clubbing the heck out of him, like as hard as he could, just pretty much fist fighting with him in the match. And it was after he pretty much drained himself for the whole day.
Yeah, he was definitely, he's the one guy that really sticks out and being like so over the top with it. But you're right, he weighs 160 now. He happens to be a really good wrestling coach too. The guy knows the sport, man. He's doing a great job with his little kids and his club. And he's into the whole recruiting process. He'll work out with the kid and send me his name and be like, "You got to get on him." You guys say, I keep trying to tell him, we're not made of money, man. It's not falling off trees. Like, you got to be somewhat special. And he works out with a kid and gets a feel and is like, this kid could be good. And a lot of times he's right. And a lot of times he's right. The problem is he works out with so many of them that we can't get them all. It's a hard thing to do. So
yeah,
but he's doing really well. He's doing well.
He's doing something special. He started with small groups and kind of built out from small groups with really, really high level small group guys in the youth wrestling community. And we have a team kind of together that we did last year. We went to Virginia Duels together, and some of the guys he trains, some guys I've done clinics with, and it was like a mob in Dragons. His club's the Dragons.
Dragons, yeah.
There's another team that's in Atlantic City right now at the New Way Duels. They got mob and singlets, and a lot of the guys are trained by Eleazar, trained by Iron Horse Wrestling Club by Nick Francavilla. There's all these young guys giving back to the community around the state of New Jersey, and Eleazar's doing a great job with the Dragons. And some of the things, like you're saying, like he's sending me videos every other day of a kid going just a really smooth drill. Just, what do you think about this drill? What can he be doing? What do you think about this, that? And these kids are drilling hard and they're drilling smooth. And he's like, tell Goody about this guy, tell Goody about that guy.
I know.
He's invested, man. He's even telling me those kind of things. And I'm like, bro, I'm not a coach. Like, just
yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But it's
no, I hear you. I hear you.
It's great how invested he is.
Our guys love working out with him too. Like, our guys, they may not come down to Elite or Triumph or Short Thing, but they'll go up with him because it's closer, but they love working out with him. So he's been training with our guys quite a bit all summer long. So he's doing well, man. Doing well, giving back. I see Richie seems like he's doing well. I don't know if he has a fight, but he's certainly training with a lot of different people and getting his UFC game going a little bit, his MMA game going a little bit. I don't know if you're in touch with him at all or what he's really up to.
Yeah, I am. He's always like, Richie's always planning his life for what he wants to be doing. He always feels like he has a clear vision on where he wants to go and clear path. But I'm pretty sure he's looking to fight once there's allowed fans, because where he's at in his career, he hasn't had a fight yet. So they can't really make any money. Like, you only get paid off of, as an amateur or as like one of your first fights, off the tickets that you personally sell for those kind of fights. Like, they're usually like the ones that are in Atlantic City and the casinos and stuff. And of course he wants to jumpstart his career, but he's also like doing a lot of these clinics. If you look on his social media, he's doing a lot of things where he's probably, I haven't talked to him personally about this part, but I'm sure he's making income where he's okay right now, where he's like, I'm not going to fight until I have fans. And I know that's where his mindset is about fighting. He wants fans before he fights. And he really feels like he's going to be a special MMA mixed martial arts fighter. And he knows that with fans will create a larger platform for himself. If he has like a crazy knockout he feels or something, he wants people to see it and film it and put his stuff out there. He's definitely doing a heck of a job just branding himself right now and building it all up. And it's going to make him or break him whether he wins or loses, because he's putting a lot into the buildup. So it's like when you have all that buildup and you got to go perform and show out, because if you don't, then it's like, it's kind of a steep drop off. But I believe in him, man. And I think it's going to take off. And I think he's definitely going to get through the first couple amateur guys and the first couple fights, just how he sees it, man. He's a special athlete. Wrestling with him, bro. Like, there's some guys that you just never get the better of. And I got the better of him in high school, but once he got to Rutgers in college and practice, I don't think I've ever got the better of him in live goes.
Super talent. Super talent. And I think this kind of sets up for him because, and I always thought that, I thought the international scene in wrestling was good for him because it's his own pace. It's his own practice. It's his time when he wants to train. He's not really being coached or led. Not that he was hard. There's no doubt about it, because he had a certain way he wanted to do things. So I just always thought he would do better at this stage in his life and his competitive career, because it's at his own, when he wants to do it and that type of situation. So no doubt, one of the most talented kids I've ever coached.
Yeah. I just get nervous because I know, he's just hungry to do it all, and he's got his hand in like some business things, his hand in different things. And, like, for me personally, I love doing different things too, but I know it leads me to be distracted in the main goal, which is to be an Olympic champ or be the best wrestler or be the best just person I could be. And doing all those other side things, sometimes distract you from that main goal. And I just hope that he could have that clear vision and stay on that path, just so he gets it done and does something special for himself.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Definitely see. So,
Yeah.
Listen, it's 10 o'clock. I'm going to show you this real quick. I'm going to hit this air dyne. I got about 20 minutes. See the air dyne?
Solid.
I got it all taped up like I'm cutting weight so the air doesn't blow on me.
I'm going
to hit the air dyne and
throw some plastics on.
I'm not going to do plastics. I haven't done plastics in a long time.
Have you?
I haven't done plastics.
You did plastics that one time at Rutgers when you were seeing how much weight you could lose the one day.
Yeah. I think I lost like 11 and a half pounds from Gravina.
Yeah.
I had to do a 24-hour fast. Then he wrapped me up like a mummy. Remember that?
Yeah, that was.
He wrapped me up like a mummy to see all the salt would come out. He put it was wrapped in like I don't know. The sponges were in like
it was like soaked in something that would hydrate you, right?
Yes, yeah, to see if it would work. And I don't know if it really worked on me, but Donnie lost like 14 pounds. I lost like maybe nine and a half. And then got wrapped in that stuff, and it didn't make me feel any better. I just remember craving a Dr. Pepper.
I remember coming in the coach's locker room and seeing like Dr. Pepper, like subs. I'm like, what the hell happened in here? Like, I'm like, you drink soda? I'm like asking these guys, I'm like, you drink soda? You drink soda? All right. I just never seen that kind of scene from you guys. It was just like you looked all drawn out, like you guys all looked like you're sucked out. It was funny.
It was a 24-hour go, and I didn't know, but that Donnie woke up and like had coffee, and I didn't do anything. I didn't drink anything. And then I had to wrestle with him. That's how I wanted to get my weight off. So I put plastics on, had to wrestle with Pritzloff, and I was like, all right, dude. After 5 minutes, I'd go on the bike. Yeah. It's okay, let's go again. But I would get so darn tired wrestling. I was drained.
Yeah,
I was drained.
I bet, man. He's an animal. I bet a workout like that when you're cutting weight, going with him would not be that fun. And I always wanted to go with him the last weight cut. A lot of the times, like those workouts we're talking about, where I was over 2.5, 3 pounds, 40 minutes before weigh-ins. I like to go with Donnie. Wasn't fun, wasn't easy, but it's like you had one choice, and it was one speed, and it was hard. And that's what I liked about it. I had no time to process, no time to think. It's like turn the light on, time to go. Like just go, just get it done. And it made me realize, like, during those kind of workouts, like the longer you linger, the more you're just trying to like keep the sweat going or thinking about the wrong things. Like just think about going as hard as you can for as long as you can, and it's not going to be as long as you think. It's going to be quick. Just go.
And until you get that and understand that and flip that switch, it's always going to suck.
Yeah.
So you might as well just do it and go. And we've tried to talk to our guys about that this year. We had a lot of freshmen who struggled with that.
Yeah, Gravina even kind of taught me that mindset. He's so tough in different ways than I am, that like he would go for his weight cut maybe on the treadmill, and he's like, he jacks that thing up to like 11 right away. Boom, go, takes off. Like, yeah, maybe warm up a little, but he just spikes it and goes as hard as he can. And when he almost like when he dies, he dies. Like, and that's the mindset that great wrestlers kind of have. Like, yeah, you got to be smart at times, but there's times you need to just attack and get it done.
Yep. Cool, man. All right. Well, I'm out of here. Enjoy your weekend. We'll get back at it next week. We'll bring somebody on next week. If anybody's got any suggestions, who do you want to see on here? We'll reach out to them, try to get them on, and enjoy the Friday morning.
Yeah, sorry, Fabia. I got you guys. I'm supporting. I'm a rock it often, even if I didn't earn it yet. I'll try to earn it best I can. But shout out to the little mobbers down in Atlantic City. Good luck today, and good luck the rest of the weekend. Check them out on my Instagram. They're looking really, really cute. Actually, the little guys all dressed up in mob and stuff.
Mob and singlets.
They look really good. I need one of those singlets. They got masks made. I need one of those masks as well.
It's awesome. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Best of health. I'll talk to you soon.
See ya.